What's up, guys? Welcome to G Whiskey. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'm not going to give you a score because this is a list. Today's list is 5 elegant sherried whiskeys that taste more expensive than they actually are. So stick around. Alright, so it's a list today. We've got 5 elegant sherried whiskeys that taste more expensive than they actually are, which is not a mouthful, but full disclosure, I'm grasping at straws for concepts for clickbaity lists. Still, what do I mean when I say 5 elegant sherried whiskeys that taste more expensive than they actually are? More specifically, what do I mean when I say elegant sherry? When I say elegant sherry, I mean, of course, a sherried whiskey, but a sherried whiskey that tastes refined, complex, subtle, nuanced, and expensive. So we're not looking for sherry bombs here. We're not looking for big, bold, loud, in-your-face whiskeys. In fact, the opposite. These do fall on the sort of quieter, calmer side of the line. And be prepared, some of these are at a lower ABV. Nothing at 40, don't worry, but there are a couple 43% whiskeys here. Still, they offer up fantastic flavors, and they give us a certain elegance. As usual, guys, I do have a mystery pour in my glass here. Make sure you stay around to the end of the video, and I'll share with you what that is. Your hint for today is that this is an extremely popular whiskey that's become more and more sherried over the years. So yeah, stick around. I'll share with you what that is, and let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our list. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that would be greatly appreciated. Starting things off at number 5, we've got a very good whiskey that nobody really talks about, and that's a shame. This one is the Dalwhinnie Distiller's Edition. Now, I do kind of understand why this isn't so widely discussed. First off, it is a Diageo bottle with Diageo specs right away. I'm sure a lot of you out there are already shaking your heads. But beyond that, Dalwhinnie itself does not have much of a range. The 15, while it does have its fans, is not that interesting or that popular. They have another thing called Winter's Gold, another bottle called Winter's Gold, which is drinkable but very one-dimensional. Their range is not impressive, but the DE for me is really good. Now, personally speaking, I'm not a big fan of the 15 or the Winter's Gold, so I wasn't that interested in trying this one, and I wouldn't have bought it myself, but I was visiting my uncle a few years back and he shared some with me and I was pretty impressed. This absolutely nails the Oloroso finish. It's rich, it's gentle, it's complex, it's full. It does punch big for something of 43%. The only reason that this comes out at the bottom of the list is that pricing on this one is pretty inconsistent. I do know this is overpriced in some markets, and if that's your market, then just don't buy it. For context, I pay about 60 US for this bottle here, and I think that's a great deal. It's not too much money, and it tastes much fancier than you'd expect. It's a really good bottle, so check it out as long as it's not too pricey. Dalwhinnie Distiller's Edition. Number 4 is from every whiskey enthusiast's favorite brand, Delmore. I've got the Delmore 12 Sherry Cask Select here, which is not the regular 12. This one has a deeper, richer sherry, and it's got a slightly higher ABV. I have talked about this one before on the channel, but not for a while. I love this stuff. It tastes, again, very big for 43%. And while it's not a cheap whiskey, I do think it justifies the price because it tastes more expensive than it is. It's sweet, but it's balanced, it's layered, it's elegant. This is actually, considering prices, one of my favorite Dalmores, and I like Dalmore. Now, I realize that 374 people just unsubscribed the moment they heard me say that, but Dalmore, while being very flawed, can and occasionally does give us truly great whiskey. And while most of their great whiskeys are expensive and overpriced, this one doesn't have a crazy price tag. I think it's a gem. I think it punches above its weight, and it's just really good stuff. So yeah, give it a chance. Or don't. Do what you want. I don't care. Coming in at number 3, we've got the most expensive whiskey on this list, at least it is in my market, and still, it's very fairly priced, especially when you factor in the age. A Knock 18. This is a beautiful whiskey. The newer batches of this stuff are richly sherry. They're genuinely delicious. So we've got a well-aged, elegant whiskey that's budget-friendly for an 18-year-old. This is actually one of my favorite 18-year-olds on the market right now. And it doesn't hurt that it's one of the few whiskeys on this list that's actually 46%. So yeah, really good stuff. I'll be reviewing it soon. I have looked at it before on the channel, but that was a while back and it was a much earlier batch, and the newer batch is quite different. So I'll let you know all about that one when I get around to it. In the meantime, it's number 3 on this list, and it's a great whiskey, a Knock 18. All right, so I really struggled with the top 2 because they're basically equal to me. They're kind of interchangeable, so I really wasn't sure which one to put where, but ultimately I put number 2 at number 2 and number 1 at number 1. Anyway, number 2 is Tam 12. Tam 12 is an excellent whiskey, and whether or not you believe that it's one of the best 12-year-olds out there, I think it's one of the better ones for sure. For me, it's undeniably the most elegant 12-year-old out there. It's got this incredible silkiness to it that's basically unmatched, even within the Tam line. Like, I love the 15, for example. It's a bolder, spicier whiskey. It's got a better ABV, but sometimes I'm in the mood for something more gentle, more subtle. And if we're comparing the 15 and the 12, where the 15 brings us that bolder, spicier side, the 12, I would argue, gives us more of a luxurious feel. Again, we've got that kind of silkiness worked in. So really interesting pour. This is another one that I'll be reviewing quite soon. I've got a bottle on the go right now and I'm loving it. So spoiler there, I will be praising it. Good stuff. Check it out. Comes in at number 2, Tam 12. At number 1, we've got one of my all-time favorite whiskeys that comes in at 43%. And it's also one of my all-time favorite 15-year-olds. This is the Benroic 15. This is a beautiful whiskey. It's actually my favorite Benroic from their line. And I know there's a lot of other whiskeys that are much more popular. You have the cast strength releases. You have some older stuff like the 21. I've tried all of those. This one is my favorite. For me, this is a very pretty whiskey. That's how I always describe it to people. It's pretty. It's luxurious. It's rounded. It's very full for something that's 43%. And beyond all that, it's very Moorish. It's very reachable. So this is one I keep coming back to, and a lot of people, rightly so, do complain about the ABV. I get it, and oftentimes I'll complain about 43% whiskeys tasting light. This one just doesn't for me. Again, it's got that richness. It does taste quite full. So yeah, my favorite Benroic. Not all of you out there are going to agree with me, but I agree with me. So I highly recommend this one, and it doesn't hurt also that this is very fairly priced for being a 15-year-old. Remember, our theme here is whiskeys that taste more expensive than they actually are. This one does. It's a great whiskey. Check it out. Comes in at number 1, Benroic 15. All right, that's it. That was the list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep in mind, it was a subjective list. It was my own personal opinions, and I want to hear your opinions. Remember, our parameters are it's got to be elegant and sherried, and it also has to taste more expensive than it is. So I realize it's very specific, but what do you got? Finally, before we do the mystery pour, I just want to really quickly say thank you to all my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for the help, guys. And if you want to help keep the channel financially sustainable and independent, there are a number of ways that you can help. I have links to both Patreon and PayPal down below. Anything and everything helps, guys. And again, a very big thank you to everyone who is already supporting the channel. It means a lot. Now, mystery pour. Your hint earlier is that this is a whiskey that's gotten more and more sherried over the years and that it's currently very popular. The whiskey in my glass is Aaron 10. Some of you have heard about this one before. Some of you have heard a lot about this one before. And some of you are probably tired of hearing about this one. But it's a damn good whiskey for a damn good price. And of course, it's on theme for us because it is an elegant sherried whiskey that tastes more expensive than it is. It's not quite as elegant as some of the other whiskeys on this list, granted, but it's the cheapest whiskey on this list, and it's richly sherried, especially the modern batches. It's complex and it's characterful. So it is really good stuff, and it's worth trying. And that leads us into the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And again, if you want to help support the channel, I've got Patreon and PayPal down below. And what are your elegant whiskeys that taste expensive? I'm looking forward to reading the comments there. And I suppose that's it. So we'll see you with the next video. Bye, guys.